Welcome to Burning Bright, a weekly podcast presenting poetry and prose from Passager. April 13th is National Scrabble Day. To commemorate it, 3 poems from Passager, issue 71, about words. First, a poem about trying to remember words, and more. Tony Howarth said, "This morning my wife asked me if I wanted to go to Salinger's. I thought for a moment and asked, 'Who is Salinger?' Her answer, 'Only the orchard fruit stand we've been going to for 25 years. Here's his poem, Conversation is treacherous. I want to say that talking while old is like walking through somebody whispers, maze, right, a maze. Well, no, but I'll settle for it. Like I'm watching Jeopardy. The clue is the fruit on the Spanish flag that gave Persephone so much trouble. And I know the word, but I can't dredge it until the contestant comes to my rescue. Pomegranate! Like I'm in my poetry workshop discussing a poem one of us has written, and I want to suggest her word. Despair is maybe not, but the words don't keep up with my thoughts. So all I do is I splutter, a problem that labyrinth, in the middle of nothing, for no explicable, I couldn't remember the word I wanted to remember, but by now I can't remember what it was I was trying to say maze. Maze is a playful, while labyrinth is somebody whispers, ominous. Tony Howarth, Conversation is a seemingly unrelated aside. Speaking of seemingly unrelated asides, in last week's podcast, when I read a poem that alluded to Persephone, I said all that was missing was the pomegranate, and Tony's poem that I just read included an allusion to Persephone and the pomegranate. Wow! Sophia Rivkin said she plays with words like a child plays with blocks, word by word, to build a mood or emotion. Here's her poem, Potpourri. In 1685, Charles II, ill with VD, was treated with purgatives and enemas, fed a potpourri of chamomile and beetroot, fennel and cardamom, cochineal and aloe. The doctors offered cowslip flowers, licorice, absinthe, and anise, mixed with cherry water, melon seeds, and slippery elm. They anointed him with peony and lavender, dissolved in pearls. Body language and botany, entangled in a potpourri of explanations, contradictions, garlic premonitions, peppery ablutions, like what my twin says I am vanishing into, verbal potpourri. Outer space and in your face, sexy cars and sexless drivers, the heart of hearing listening to the heart of speaking, and the heart of darkness, precious and precarious, entangled bilious and libidinous with melanoma and melancholy, miasma and Viagra, Ready Cash and Johnny Cash. Oh, plethora and pleasure! My brain is a scalded pudding, or an old TV, dots and spots, stripes and plaid, a wall of snow with sun behind it, mouthing, melting, passion, privilege, prudence, purgatives, powerful illusions. And the war, the whore's war, error, terror, Iran, Iraq, rocks the brain, the bow bends, breaks, the baby falls, and the mind's a melange of smells and stinks and slippery elm, umbrage, collage, triaged to ancient garlic premonitions, chamomile, fennel, beetroot, anise, while the soul, the devious dazzled soul, dissolves in pearls. Sophia Rivkin's poem Potpourri. Tim Gillespie said, standing in the aisle at my neighborhood do-it-best store a couple of years ago, I was struck by how many words we have for words we don't have. Gizmo, whatchamacallit, etc. Words I needed that day to describe complicated hardware for my home. Later, I thought of all the words I don't have to describe the complicated software of my heart. Here's Tim's poem, Searching the Shelves at the Hardware Store. I know what I need, but I don't have the words. I try to describe items from my list to the guy in the green do-it-best carpenter's apron. A hose spigot insulator thingy, The whatchamacallit that holds off the pneumatic screen door rig. A better doohickey for finding studs behind old lath and plaster. The green apron guy helps me find what I need, sends me home with the right gizmos. But now I need stuff for harder projects. Do it best guy, from your stool and nuts and bolts, can you tell me if any of this is in stock? A doojigger to ratchet down the rage that keeps tightening me up. A thingamabob to help me square up the hard facts of our time but still have hope. A what's-it to peel apart a stubborn 3-ply veneer layer by layer. The urge to tear it all down, the wish that I could fix it all, the hard acceptance that everything broken can't be mended. And finally, a dealy-bob to keep surrender bolted down and whatever else it might take not to damage this fragile old home and all of us who live here. And me. Tim Gillespie's Searching the Shelves at the Hardware Store. All 3 of the poems on this episode about words were from Passager issue 71. To buy that issue, subscribe to or learn more about Passager and its commitment to writers over 50, go to passagerbooks.com. You can download Burning Bright from Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, and various other podcast apps. For Kendra, Mary, Christine, Roseanne, and the rest of the Passager staff, I'm John Shore.